Action News was there as protesters associated with the white supremacist group Patriot Front marched through the heart of Philadelphia. Counter-protesters confronted that particular group. Police did respond to the scene that you can see right here. That march coming ahead of today's visit by First Lady Jill Biden, and security is heightened for the 4th of July. Action News reporter Becca Henderson is live on Independence Mall with an update on the commotion in the city of Philadelphia. Becca, what do you learn about this?
Right, first of all, the First Lady is due to be here on Independence Mall within the next few hours for a celebration of freedom ceremony. As you said, with her presence comes heightened security. Homeland Security had issued a warning this week about the threat of violent extremists exploiting the return of large gatherings. Now, while they remained non-violent last night, a group of white supremacists were here in Philadelphia. They marched through the city on the eve of the First Lady's visit. We say none of the protesters were from Philadelphia. Patriot Front is based in Texas, and they traveled into the city. Action News was the only crew on scene as the group traveled down the Ben Franklin Parkway across Market, Chestnut, and Walnut Streets before marching to Penn's Landing. Hundreds of masked protesters from Patriot Front chanted while carrying American flags and shields. At Penn's Landing, several onlookers began yelling at the protesters and banging on trucks as the group loaded into the vehicles and drove off. We say some of those angry onlookers actually scared off the white supremacists.
Somebody in their crowd to protect us. It's a smoke bomb. Keep up with the retreat.
Police later questioned the entire group of protesters after pulling their trucks over for safety reasons along Delaware Avenue. Now, police say no property was destroyed during this commotion last night. We are hoping to learn more about why these white supremacists were in Philadelphia. But again, this was on the eve of the First Lady's visit to the city. Live on Independence Mall, Becca Hendrickson, Channel 6, Action News. Alicia?
Shalom, this is an article relating to group marches in
Pennsylvania. We are in the heart of American history this morning. Philadelphia.
Shalom, this relates to white supremacist group marches Philadelphia yesterday on the 4th of July celebrations. A little bit of the article right here. That supremacist group was based in Texas and traveled to the city, as it states here. Police said no one was in the group was from Philadelphia originally. The group is based in Texas and traveled to into the city. An area that it was in was Ben Franklin Parkway, across from Market, Chestnut, and Walnut Street, and arriving at Penn's Landing. Some other articles relating to that as well. Tensions flare up in the white supremacist march in front of Philadelphia City Hall. Patriot Front white supremacist group marches through Philadelphia before the 4th of July celebrations. White supremacist march on the eve of independence. There's various other articles, ABC, NBCPhiladelphia.com, Slate.com. Various articles relating to that. And as they were marching, they were being, they had a few people, opposition against them, obviously. I'll get a few scriptures. I'm gonna go to 2nd Esdras. Let's go to 2nd Esdras 15. 2nd Esdras 15. Second Esdras 15 and Second Esdras 15 through 19. I'll read. For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men, invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the courses of their actions shall stand in their power, man. And that's what you're seeing. You're going to see number 15 specifically. You know what I mean? These tensions between these races, man. Racial tensions, ultimately. You're seeing the supremacist groups, you know, they marching. You know what I mean? Even though, you know, under the Constitution they have a right to do so. You know what I mean? As long as they don't escalate violence, you know, that's called under the First Amendment, freedom of religion, freedom of press, and freedom of assembly, man. You know what I mean? So, as foolish as it might be relating to their ideology, they have a right to the freedom to freedomly assemble. You know what I mean? To express that their ideology under the Constitution. The point is 15. So for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. That's pretty much oppositional, relating to race wars, class wars, social wars. You know, people that's going to oppose one another. For example, race wars. For there shall be sedition among men, invading one another, and shall not regard the kings nor princes, and of course of their actions shall stand in their power, as sedition, mutiny, insurrection. Not regarding the kings and princes. That's happening all over the world, man. Here in this country as well. A man shall desire to go in the city, shall not be able. That's martial law. We experienced a little bit of that early, and still experiencing that. 18. For because of their pride, cities shall be in trouble, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. They're going to be afraid because of relating to the state and condition, how society is going to gradually and incrementally change, man. And we on the steps of that happening. Number 19. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword, spoil their goods because of a lack of bread. That's what's going to happen when there's a limited supply, especially of food, for example. If the individual thinks you have something, they're not going to hesitate to try to come in and try to take it, man. And the consequence of that is going to be a painful, violent, you know what I mean? Because people have guns, man, G-U-N-S, man. So you're going to see a lot of opposition from people for trying that, man. You know what I mean? For example, neighbors or people you're not really friendly like that with, people you are friendly with. When there's, for example, when there's going to be a limited supply of certain things, you're going to see the true nature of the beast come out of these people, man. Because right now, when it's still somewhat functionally normal as far as things still going on as normal. But when that changes, man, and things become scarce and limited, then you're going to see another side of people acting a certain way, man. Especially when they in their need or want of certain things. So they're not going to have pity upon your neighbor or pity upon people, man. Especially when they're hungry, especially when they need something things. I'm going to go to Isaiah 19. Let's go to Isaiah 19:1. I'll start from the top. The burden of Egypt, behold, the Lord rideth upon a swift cloud as a chariot, and come into Egypt, and the idols of Egypt shall be moved at his presence. The idol's going to be moved, man. All the worship, the false idolatry goes back to worship, witchcraft and sorcery, man. And this kingdom is heavily in that. So all these things, when the Lord comes back, these things are going to be pretty much moved out his sight, man. And the burden of Egypt, man, that relates to pretty much Babylon. And that's here, in America. We're talking about this is in the future. And shall be moved at the presence, and the heart of Egypt shall melt in the midst. So when the Lord comes back, man, then it's going to be all in fear and trembling when they see him, man. 2. And I will set the Egyptian against the Egyptian, and they shall fight everyone against his brother. So that brother against brother, neighbor against neighbor, that's that spirit of division that's set forth, man. Matthew 10:34, for I think not that I come to send peace but a sword, man. So that part of that sword is sending this division, that spirit of division upon the people, man. And that's where you're gonna have that the oppositional reaction from opposing forces, man. For example, the race wars between certain class and category of people versus another class and category of people, man. So that spirit is being set forth, man. And a few verses down talks about even man's enemies will be even in his own household. So you're gonna have internal division as well as external division, man. Read number 2 again. I will set the Egyptian against the Egyptian, citizen versus citizen, and they shall fight everyone against his brother, and everyone against his neighbor, city against city, kingdom against kingdom. You're seeing that happening. You know, Matthew 24, Luke 21, Mark 13, nation against nation, kingdom against kingdom. You've seen all these nations, the tensions with the nations building up. Taiwan, China, U.S., Iraq, Iran, Syria, Israel, India, and all these various countries, man. You know, North Korea, Turkey, all these other countries, man. These tensions are building up, man. You know? And I'll read 3. For the spirit of Egypt shall fall in the midst thereof, and I will destroy the counsel thereof. And they shall seek into idols and charmers, and to them with familiar spirits. That relates to sorcery and witchcraft. They're going to seek the similar powers, but not really similar. You know what I mean? That goes to these necromancy and charmers of idolatry and witchcraft, man. And I'll finish it off. And the Egyptians will I give over to a hand of a cruel lord. That cruel lord is the one in power, man. And a fierce king shall rule over them, and saith the Lord of hosts, man. That's what's happening. We have a fierce king. Proverbs 29:2. When the righteous are in authority, people rejoice. But when the wicked beareth rule, people mourn, man. So the wicked are ruling, man. So people are mourning, man. Even the earth is mourning. You know? So that's what That's what's happening. So this was just relating to that article relating to the white supremacist group. It's a patriot force or patriot group from Texas marching in Philadelphia on July 4th. So they had onlookers, and people were trying to, you know, some of them in video were pushing on the guys that were marching, man. So, you know, this was something short. I want to give all praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakadash, the water for listening. Shalom, thanks.